Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Last Voyage of the Demeter. And this is a new horror film from director Andre Hoverdal, who previously did such films as Troll Hunter, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And I've been a fan of his work through this point, and I found it very interesting that this film, which was adapted by Bragi F. Schutt and Zach Olekowicz, is based off of one chapter from Bram Stoker's Dracula, the story of Dracula coming over from Romania to England on the Demeter. This is all told through Captain's log. This film really captures an old school gothic terror type of feel. Overdall leans more into some specific gore. Like, you're not going to see buckets of blood, but there's blood, there's vicious bites in people and into animals. You use the setting, the darkness, the idea that you're on a boat late at night in the pitch black, and you hear things rumbling, you hear things knocking, building up that tension and suspense. You also have Dracula, who is much more bat-like, and they utilize some really great prosthetics and makeup to create such an engaging and terrifying creature, but they slowly hint at it. They don't go right out there and show like Dracula in his full form right off the bat. They use that slow building of tension throughout, and it really works for the film. This film really leans on building of suspense and horrifying visuals from Dracula himself to, what happens when vampires are out in the sun. So you have all of those elements. This film feels very authentic in the way that it captures the rough life that it is to be a sailor in this time period, and it develops some interesting perspectives of, Clemens, our main character, played by Corey Hawkins, is a black man, and the tensions that his presence causes on the ship. You also have the religious aspects, because there's some characters here that are very religious, and you have that, like, Dracula's the devil, this is our punishment kind of perspective on what's going on. You have the old school classic sailor type suspicions that build tension as well. They do a good job of developing some of these dynamics, like the captain and his grandson. That's a very genuine and earnest relationship and dynamic that builds a lot of emotion. Some of the other ones, like, did this film really need like some kind of love story brewing? It's like, no, but it did. There's also some moments where I feel like the story kind of loses its steam, especially towards the end of the second act, into the third act, trying to fill out a 2-hour film, which, did it need to be a 2-hour film? No. So, like, they could have tightened this a bit and had it move along at a little bit more of a good pace. But it mostly does a good job of building tension, getting us to places where we could have some really good, well-made scares. In general as well, there's the technical aspects of this, like the production design is fantastic, the ship is fantastic, the score from Bear McCreary is unnerving and unsettling, and just really captures the period and the especially the Romani feel at the beginning of the film as they're leaving Romania, and just captures like its hints of being like sea shanty-esque moments to this feels like a horror score, and it's balancing all those things in a very well done way that helped build tension and build intrigue. The cast is fantastic. Liam Cunningham, fantastic as the captain. Woody Norman, who plays Toby, his grandson, does a really good job. You have a really good set of an eclectic group of this ensemble. David Dasmalchian is very good as the first mate. Aisling Franciosi, who I know from The Nightingale from Jennifer Kent, I think she does a good job once, she gets into the story. And I think Corey Hawkins made for a good lead. Overall, by the end, it gets a little obnoxious, feeling like it's a tough sell because a lot of logic goes out the window in the third act, and then the ending feels really like, we need to fit this into Dracula. And then it feels like an obnoxious tease to a sequel. But overall, I think up until well into the third act, I think this is a really well-made, well-acted, well-realized kind of claustrophobic horror film on a boat. And it really works. And, its shortcomings arrive pretty hard towards the end, but I think, in general, this is a really effective film, full of terror, and certainly worth a watch. But those are my thoughts on The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you, as always, for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.